I went this morning to Native Bagel. It's where me and Katie sometimes go to have a coffee and a bagel and whatnot. And I went by myself. I was like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to escape from everything and then come here and like do work. So I was like, I need to escape, and I'll like wholly focus on like my prayer time and my
Holy
reading.
focus.
Holy focus.
You know, that's
Holy moly. Guacamole. Anyways, so I get there and I'm sitting down and I have my bagel and reading the Bible, and I do some of my praying, and I just try to pray and praise God like I would if no one else was there. Like that's the goal. Like, cause
in public.
yeah, because it's like if it's living out whether or not it's right or not. It's living out that if you're ashamed of me before men, I'll be ashamed of you before my Father. I'm just trying to live there, like just an unedited, unfiltered Christianity kind of thing. So as I'm finishing my bagel and stuff, I can't help but hear these people talking next to me, and this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, and I didn't film it because I didn't want. I'm not looking for clicks and stuff, because there's a lot of shallow people. If you're like, so somebody gets roasted or owned or whatever, they'll click on your stuff. I would rather the people who subscribe to us be people who appreciate what we're saying, not, oh, it's clickbait, all that, like the little easy clicks. So this person started talking, and they were like, a friend of theirs apparently is starting a brand. They got a YouTube channel. Long and short, this guy was like, and they had their brand on these plastic cups, and they were, asking if I would promote these cups of theirs and their brand and stuff, and their coffee cups, or whatever. And I was like, no, dude, don't you understand that is an environmental catastrophe, like disaster that you have right there? Like, you're adding to the problem. You're my friend. No, I'm not gonna support this. This is like a plastic cup that endangers the environment with a bad logo on it. I'm sitting there listening to this.
But he already has the cups.
Is he famous?
No.
Or is he just supposed to be
just
supporting a
student.
friend?
Just a college student supporting a friend.
And he won't even do that.
And he says, I can't help it. I'm the kind of person that and this is about the time when I'm getting up, I'm listening to the whole story, and I'm getting up, starting to leave. And he goes, I'm the kind of person, I just see a truth, and I have to say something about it.
Ugh.
And so as I'm leaving, he said, it's causing me a lot of problems socially, because I looked at the people and I said, you know what, it's probably best for you just write me out of your life. I'm going to be a problem. And I glance over and I see he's got an Apple Watch on. And I leave the restaurant. I get in my truck and I sit like this.
Airdrop him something?
I think it bothers when she went back in.
I turn it off. I turn the truck on and like, nope. Turn the truck off. Get out. I was like, if he hadn't said, I see a truth and I have to say something about it, I wouldn't have done anything. I walk back in and I go, hey, man, what's your name? I'm Cliff. And I said, you had a buddy who does YouTube? He goes, yeah. He goes, I do too. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I was listening to y'all's conversation, and I'm tilted like you are. Like, if I see a truth, I got to say something about it. And I was like, you were talking about the plastic cup stuff. He goes, yeah, man. Like, it's like such an environmental hazard or whatever.
Yeah, so is it lithium?
And I went,
batteries?
you got a smartphone? He goes, yeah. And he pulled it out like he thought I was going to talk about my YouTube and exchange contacts. I said, me too, man. I see you got an Apple Watch. Me too, man. Right there with you. I said, you know that the ground floor of production for the cobalt and the lithium for your smartphone and your Apple Watch are all basically exploitation of child slave labor.
Yeah.
And I said, and yet, you're upset about plastic cups. And he went, oh, I know, man. It's like I went to L.A. and in the restaurants in L.A. they're giving you these paper straws, and you're forced to use paper straws in L.A., but there's homeless all over L.A. And I'm like, you're L.A. Like, you are unaware.
You just did this to another guy.
And I'm just like, I was like, yeah, man, it's pretty rough. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you. And because it was like, if I said anything else, it was going to be a fight, because he couldn't handle it. His little head would explode. But I'm like, you're willing to write people out of your life over freaking plastic cups. This content is brought to you by notgospelstudios.com. If you want to support the channel but don't know how, just click on over to notgospelstudios.com, follow and subscribe to us on all of our listening platforms, and then click the store icon where you can purchase Not Gospel Studios merch, including custom spray art. If you'd like your own custom spray art painting, just click the custom spray art icon, and as you're checking out, in the additional notes section, tell us what you want on your painting. We'll create your painting,
post the video of it, and you can watch the entire process of how your painting was created while you're waiting for your custom artwork to arrive at your door. As always, thank you guys so much for listening and watching and supporting, and keep being awesome, because that's how God made you.
Yeah.
Walking contradiction. I walked away from that like he explained to me himself as LA and didn't even
know
realize it.
That's the Bible. The Bible is a mirror that when you read it, it reflects yourself back to you so you can change yourself and stuff. He has no mirror in front of him at all.
Had no idea. No clue. It's sad. So anyways, that happened to me this morning, and I went out of my way to possibly have a problem with somebody, but then I eventually was like, there's no fixing this situation. He just wants to write simpletons out of his life.
Okay, so what did you think would happen when you got back out of the car?
Anything. That's why I hesitated. I was like, like finger was hovering over the little start button, which I prefer keys. I wish all cars were still keys. Anyways, if he had not said, I see a truth and I have to say something, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. You're wearing like a truth on your wrist. Why don't you say something about that?
That's like the same line of the girls who like say that they're crazy and they just use it as an excuse to be crazy. I hate that.
They say that about
much.
any chick with a last name or with the letter in their last name is A and it sounds like that they're crazy. It's true. Jessica, Amanda, who else?
Sarah.
Dustin.
That don't start with an A at the end. That sounds like Dustin.
No, he said Sarah, his first wife.
Chandra.
Hey, there you go.
I didn't even make that connection.
You did it? When he said Sarah, I thought you were like eyeballing. I'm like, he was going to say your name.
No, he was using your platform to attack his poor ex-wife.
Is she poor? Really?
Now she took all his money.
Underprivileged?
She took $5,000 out of my bank account
Well, he was in Afghanistan.
after
Man.
she had cheated on me.
Man. Did it end with an A or have an H at the end?
H on the end.
Oh, well, she doesn't count.
Sounds the same. She counts.
Making excuses for your ex-wife. Oh, man.
She was beautiful.
She was very pretty.
Yeah.
You can't have all three.
She had one.
The reality, it's like, what is it? Like custom work. If you want to, you got three things. You got fast, good, and cheap, and you can have two of them. If you want it cheap and good, it ain't gonna be fast. If you want it cheap and fast, it ain't gonna be good. You want good and what was it? Good and fast, it ain't gonna be cheap. So which was she? Good and fast, or good and cheap?
She wasn't cheap.
She wasn't good.
She wasn't good.
Wasn't good.
She was fast.
She was just
with
fast,
other men.
obviously. Oh man, I'm wondering if I gotta edit that part out. If I'm gonna live by axioms, like we call them, or whatever, like you have these that form your ideology, like the golden rules and axiom, blah 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 blah, whatever. Can you at least take the time to establish that they all like coincide with each other before we just wind up like nameless guy who was in the coffee shop this morning who clearly was a walking contradiction.
Well, I mean, but like you said, you also had on Apple Watch.
Yes. Well, I
But
wasn't
he wasn't
standing
sitting there
there
going,
like,
if I see a truth.
I wasn't there like, I'm not drinking a latte out of this plastic cup. I refuse.
Okay, but to further say, why don't we stop doing stuff like that? I mean, we all do it. I'm just saying, do
Why
we
don't-
just not care about children in other countries?
No, it's... Well...
I don't care about children in this country.
No, well, that's a great question. Let's one at a time. Dustin, all right. Chandra, do you care about children in other countries?
Kind of out of sight, out of mind, and it's awful.
It is awful.
Yeah.
I do care. I feel like there's, on that particular front, there's not a whole lot I can do. And then for me, there's like this, I got to use the platform and use the technology to get the voice out to raise awareness about certain things. But I'm also using the things that is causing them the issue that they're mining for basically slave labor.
I mean, at what point does a problem become so large that you literally cannot do anything about it?
I think it becomes
Because-
that when you begin to think that. I think it's never as too large that you can't do anything about it until you accept defeat.
Well, I mean, you can activate for it. Like, you can go around and raise awareness and do all these things, but, like, what difference if you started boycotting Apple? realistically, what difference are you going to have to improve those kids' lives in 10 years?
I don't know. Well, for instance,
What have you been boycotting again?
the Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch boycott.
Oh,
I mean, that is actually...
I thought you were boycotting Netflix or something, but
I have all kinds of stuff that I do. It's not really about
The
boycotting.
list is long.
It's just not paying for a lot of extra things that I don't necessarily have to have.
Yeah.
Convincing myself I don't have to have them just to make my life better. But boycotts work.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Look at Budweiser, Dylan Mulvaney.
Did you see where Joe Rogan called Dylan Mulvaney an attention whore? He's like
Absolutely.
that weird looking attention whore.
I affirm that. I 100% affirm that. I think.
I think it summed up the personality really well.
How do we know that Dylan Mulvaney isn't a plant?
I thought you meant like shrubbery.
Bring me a shrubbery.
Talking robotic plant that they've just set up.
Powered by ChatGPT.
Plant by who?
What I'm saying is,
CIA?
Dylan Mulvaney has not had any serious surgeries except for some facial surgeries. To my knowledge, Dylan Mulvaney has not had a bottom surgery of any kind.
But what do you mean by plant? Plant by who?
Plant by
Liberal
Pickett,
activism?
liberal big tech, the government. I mean, Dylan Mulvaney was disclaimer. YouTube is cracking down on mispronouncing and misgendering folks. So
Their name is Dylan.
yes, so that's why I've been saying if it sounds weird, I'm going to be referring to Dylan by this person's name instead of pronouns to keep my own integrity and to not get banned off YouTube. So Dylan Mulvaney was invited to the White House very quickly during Dylan's girlhood days. I mean, and how many people were invited? Not that many. Most of them were fringe people, right? So
I don't
far.
know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying that maybe it was a government issue. Maybe Dylan Mulvaney's a plant
Are you
from the
saying
government.
before Dylan Mulvaney became a female, he was at the White House for other things?
Maybe
When he was younger? Or she was younger? Or they were younger?
no. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just saying maybe Dylan Mulvaney is a plant.
Have you seen how he gets paid to promote tampons? It is insanity right now.
Has no idea how to use
Here's
this.
the thing.
He gets money from the company.
Listen, I'm not saying, okay, there's obvious differences between biological women and trans women. If you expect me to pretend that there's not a difference, you're playing pretend. There are clinical, biological, scientific differences. And I think those scientific differences are relevant. One of them being, there's no reason why Dylan Mulvaney needs to be the sponsor for tampons.
No, it's crazy pants.
A matter of fact, someone just recently, I just watched a story where someone very recently, and I'm not sure if they were a minor or not, that part I don't know, just died from complications from a bottom surgery, from a vagioplasty.
I thought you were
Where
going to say from a tampon.
when they remove a section of the colon and insert it in the front to create a vagina.
A vagine.
That's sad.
Yes, and apparently they died of complications and infection within 48 hours of the
Did
surgery.
you just make that up?
Vagine? No, that was a Borat reference.
Oh, I never watched Borat.
Like sleeve of wizard.
Well, I thought that was a really good way to say it.
The vagine.
Yes, Jared.
Oh, you
That was
thought
all
vagine
me.
was like a real... Oh, that's a nice way to refer to the situation. Yeah.
I was proud of you.
It's kind of
For the first time in her life.
I'd rather hear the word vagina than vagine for the situation, me personally.
Vagine.
Why do you think...
Let's change the subject.
Why do girls think
Let's talk about
vagina
Dylan
is
Mulvaney's vagina.
Or like they're up.
gross? Dylan Mulvaney
Where
is
would he even put a tampon?
old Greg. I'm old Greg. You see my
downstairs
downstairs mix-up.
I miss old YouTube.
I miss old YouTube. I am not trying to make light of whatever's going on with a transhuman situation. They're clearly uncomfortable with their biological sex.
Transhuman.
Yeah, well, oh my gosh. A human who is trans.
There might be
Although-
transhumans one day.
Yeah, they're called furries.
Oh, no.
No, we already talked about that girl
I
that
was
is
talking
trans
about the demon
canine or
hybrids
whatever.
that are coming with
No.
the Antichrist.
Oh
Crocodile
my
people.
gosh. I'm not talking about. We're not
Lizard
talking
people.
about. We're not talking about reptilians and lizard people and whatnot.
Do you know who the Queen
No.
of England is?
No. We're talking
Do you think
about
she really died?
trans individuals.
Wait, is that a thing? Do people not think she's really dead?
She's hanging out with Elvis
She
right
was-
now.
When do you think she was born?
What?
She's been around
I'm
longer than
asking
you
about her
think.
death.
Couple of years after the Big Bang, the Queen of England.
Oh.
No. Trans individuals obviously have something like an issue that I really have compassion for them in the sense that it must be a serious ordeal to not be comfortable with your biological sex, living and presenting in your biological sex. That doesn't mean after a bunch of surgeries and operations, they become biological women. I just had a discussion about this with somebody on our podcast. They were explaining the definition of woman, what they thought it was, and Oxford or whatever said it's a human being who's an adult, who's a female. And they were like, I affirm this because that's a very inclusive definition, you know, and I had to stop and say it's actually pretty exclusive because the word female means you have to have female gametes and et cetera, and not everybody can have that. So you literally cannot become a female no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's that old, what's the thing? Like if you have 10 men and 100 biological women and you sit them on an island in 100 years, more than likely you'll have a thriving society with men, women, and children. But if you take 10 men and 100 trans women and you put them on an island and come back 100 years, you'll find the skeletons of 110 dead men.
I had not heard that.
Not heard that either.
It's facts. You'll
Yeah.
come and you'll be like, well, what do we have here?
There are 10 pelvic bones that all appear to be male.
Like I said, it's not a lack of compassion. They're going through something, man. That's a big deal. I mean, people have body dysphoria and eating disorders and all this because they're not comfortable with their body and all this kind of stuff. And I can't imagine not being comfortable with your body down to the core. Like that's a serious deal. And I feel like a lot of these situations need to be treated with the same compassion and care, which is not necessarily like when they're 4 and you don't even know what a boy and girl are. But in a younger adolescent, puberty age, finding them, and if they're having this confusion, walking them through the proper type of psychological care, not getting them to someone who's like, listen, we want $1 million worth of insurance money, so send your kid to the trans doctor or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That's just not helping anybody. I saw a clip on Dr. Phil where it was Dr. Phil where this chick blinded herself because she felt like she should have been born blind.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Yeah, people have their legs cut off
Well,
and
yeah.
stuff just because
that.
they don't feel like they should have a leg. It's crazy pants.
When you said crazy pants, I just thought of that girl, that lady that married that theme park.
Oh, I forgot
He's
about
amazing when he stands up and spreads out.
Like he's
She
not
has
standing,
dinner
that's
with
how
him.
he was built.
What's his name? Bruce. She calls him.
I forgot all about that episode.
It made a lasting impression on me. She's having a candlelight dinner in his innards.
Well, did you see the video of the guy who married his car?
I
No.
saw one of those.
It wasn't even a particularly nice car. That was the sad part. It was like a red Chevy Cobalt.
Oh, sad. He could do better.
Yeah,
He
right?
could save up. He could at least lease something that was
Camaro.
better and marry it for a season. The divorce rate's 50% or more anyways. Might as well get married to one for a while. That doesn't seem like it's
Well-
going to last. I'm just saying, a Cobalt? Come on.
Do you think the divorce rate would be higher or lower? Because it is an inanimate object. It wouldn't have anything to disagree with. I think it'd be more successful.
Depends on how much people are offering for it. I really want that Cobalt.
Oh, I had the pizza delivery guy offer me $2,000 for my Mustang yesterday. And I was like, no.
Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it?
Is it running?
Yeah.
Is it fully operational, or is it kind of like the Death Star?
There's not a big hole. Actually, there kind of is.
There's some rust, and we can't figure out how to get the laser to work quite right.
They just threw me for a loop. Because, I mean, Blue Book's for like 10 grand. He offered me $2,000.
$2,000. Maybe that's all he had, man.
I
Maybe
mean,
he's coming across some hard times. Maybe he's from the past and he doesn't realize inflation and doesn't know the value of a Mustang.
one of my favorite quotes, and it's so dumb, but like if you're thinking about doing something and it's bad, if someone doesn't travel back in time to stop you, how bad can it be?
That's actually fair. If the Simpsons haven't made an episode about it, it's probably
Yeah.
okay.
It is wild how much they've got right.
We've said over and over that Mike Judge, is it, that he's a time traveler. Whoever
mean,
did
it
the
would-
Simpsons show that he's this time traveler, it is what it is. don't
Elon
believe
Musk
that.
said something recently about the new theory for Occam's razor is the thing that's most absurd will be the thing, or the thing that's most ironic is most likely to happen.
Oh yeah, we live in a time where we're convinced things are important like that. We're getting dumber. How we get so
Bureaucracy.
stupid? Remember, that's the last week we did a whole spiel on that. How we get so stupid? We said it over and over, and I don't forget what we were even talking about. But every single thing was like, how are people getting so stupid? Steven Crowder's wife leaked a doorbell video of them fighting.
Yes, from I think 2018 or 19.
Should we watch the clip? It's right
I
behind
don't
me.
think you need to watch it right now. I don't think it'd be that important.
Well, describe
or
it to me.
interesting. Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's how intelligent he is.
Mm-hmm.
And verbal. So he was just basically whooping up on her verbally. He was just kind of being verbally demanding with her and just kind of insisting on his way constantly.
There wasn't physical abuse?
No. Now, it's not on the video, but one of the reporters claims that he said at the end of it, and I will F you up. Because she was like trying to leave in the car, and he's like, if you leave, I'm going to F you up. But that's not in the video. They just claim that. But the video is just him just being like kind of harassing a little bit.
There's no way you could like him from that video is what you're saying.
Well, I didn't like him already.
So you're like, got your popcorn, like, I knew it.
But what is that heart thing he went through?
Surgery?
He was, he did. He had heart surgery. No, but
You follow him. For someone who doesn't like him, you follow him closer than I do.
Say,
You're a hater.
you know what?
I love following the people I can't stand. I love having people to hate.
I value the stories he covers, and so I will watch his program, even though I don't like his personality. But he's not just a regular man; he's a highly intelligent man who's used to getting his way all the time, and who's very verbally efficient, and like he can just beat you down with his, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that unfair to use on your wife? Does it mean you're abusing her? Like,
It depends on
how often
what
it
were
happens?
the circumstances of the start of the fight. That's something I've always felt like, and I saw YouTubers talk about this. Like, it might have been just Pearly Things. She said, "Say Dustin walked up to Dwayne the Rock Johnson and hit him in the face."
I've seen that fight in high school. It was hilarious.
And you're like, and you're like, you have no sympathy if Dwayne the Rock Johnson turns right around and knocks him slap on the ground, out cold. Well, then why is it like such a big no-no for the feminists who are all equality if a woman who's smaller than a man goes up and hits him right in the face, and the man turns around and just decks her and knocks her on the floor?
I've seen that video on YouTube.
Like, you cannot say you're for equality and there's no difference in men and women and all this kind of stuff, and say that it's acceptable when he gets his, or I get my block rocked, from the Rock, and say that a man can't hit a woman.
For the record, I think I could take him. Kidding.
Like, what are your thoughts
would
on
like
that
to know,
as a
really.
woman?
If I could beat up the Rock?
Yeah.
No way.
No.
Are you
Well,
kidding?
does he have fight training?
When
my
you're- when the size difference is that large, it doesn't matter.
Really?
They have
He's
Even
way
if he
so
was,
much
what if he was
stronger.
on the ground already?
He's going to be so much stronger than me. Anything I can do to him, he can literally just be like, no.
Chandra, even in trained fighting scenarios, boxing, MMA, they have weight divisions for a reason.
I know, but there is the difference between someone who has been a warrior, he has been in war before, and someone who has never seen any kind of battle,
Well,
Like, he's big and strong.
There's two differences
but-
between me being able to kill Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which I would never would love him. I don't want to go to jail.
Well, I'm saying if there was
versus
a fight.
in a fight.
Oh, you're saying if you had to kill him, you could probably kill him, but if you were just in a fight punching, he'd win?
Oh, 100%. And
Okay.
yes.
No question. That's the same. Like, if I knew it was like a life or death situation with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, what gives me an edge is that I'm going to look for the nastiest thing I can to hurt him with.
Yeah.
If it's a chair, if it's a guitar, whatever in here can afford me the biggest advantage. If it's something I can impale him on, whatever it is, I'm gonna try. But if it's just a fight, I'm down. I'm gonna tap out. Where's the towel? Like, I'll throw it out. Like, you win. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. What, as a woman, what are your thoughts on that? Like,
On what?
If a woman walks up to a man and smacks him,
should she expect to get smacked back?
This
think-
is such a tough question.
personally, I think it's like
I
Because
think
if you
you're
say
baiting
no, it's like,
I think they get one warning. You hit me like a man, you do it again, I'm going to hit you back like a man.
I feel like men should never close punch fist hit a girl for sure. But if a woman is beating up on a man, he does have a right to defend himself. But he should use the least amount of aggression he can get away with.
I had heard one TikToker or whatever who is a feminist. She put it like this. She said, if a woman hits a man, she should expect to get hit back. But she said, if a woman hits a man and he doesn't hit her back, she's a piece of crap if she hits him again. Because she's taking advantage of the fact that he was trained to not hit women. I'm kind of like Dustin in the sense that if a woman comes up and strikes me, I'm going to try my best to diffuse the situation without straight hitting her. But I will be like, you hit me again, I'm going to knock you out. If she hits me again, I will knock her out.
Didn't you just talk about wife beaters?
We talked about
The
wife
article
beaters.
of clothing or...
That's exactly what happened. We were talking about wife beaters.
You were talking about wife beaters and how much God loved them.
No.
I remember this. You obviously do not watch the podcast.
No, he
You
doesn't.
know me, I have to be in the mood for podcasts.
Even one as short as ours, which is now down to about 5 or 8 minute clips.
If you like this clip from the Not Gospel Studios channel, don't forget to share. Click on one of the other links and videos. You can find them here and here, and subscribe. I think it's down here. Tell your friends about us. Tell them that it's healthy, that it's vegan, and all of those things. Keep being awesome, because that's how God made you.